Today on Bite Size, we will dive into the world of Mesh, a wonderful world of modeling, rigging, and motion graphics. Well, without further ado, here's the intro. Okay, so you're probably asking yourself, what is Mesh and why did I say you could use it for modeling, rigging, and animation or motion graphics? Well, it was designed to create motion graphics by duplicating objects and giving you the most control over the position in space or distribution over space, in space. So to do that, we firstly probably going to need an object. So I'm just going to create a cube because easiest thing in the world to do. So here's a cube, and what I want to do is just duplicate it several times and then have control of it. In the past, what we needed to do is duplicate it and then probably create a rig for it, and then kind of do a whole bunch of complicated things to get it to do what we needed to do. Now we have this lovely thing called the mesh network. So mesh network, what it's going to do, it's going to take a whole bunch of things, connect them together to basically manipulate this object in different ways. Even add dynamics if I wanted to add dynamics. So first thing I need to do is create a mesh network, and to do that there's several ways. The first way is you could go to the mesh shelf, press this little button here, bam, you've got it. Another way is to actually open the mesh menu set, and that's hiding over here in the animation menu set. So if you go to under file and you want to change everything from modeling to animation, and then you'll find the mesh menu set here. I'm going to disconnect that just so we can see it. Mesh is divided into, this menu set is divided into several things. So first is to create a mesh network, and different ways, because it's also like other presets that we can set here, which I'll talk about in a different day. Then you have the mesh network editor. We'll talk about that in a different day, and then all of this, the utilities and what you can do with it, dynamics, what you can do with it. So we're going to start from the simplest thing, is just creating a mesh network. So I'm just going to click the mesh network, and what you're going to see it's done is we're getting a duplication of this object. If we look here in the outliner, you can see the original P cube 1 is now grayed out. That means it's hidden. It's still there, but it's hidden. We have a new mesh called mesh Repo mesh, and then mesh, this little icon. So this is actually the network itself. I'm just going to close this because we don't need it anymore. So let's look at the different things we have. So I got this geometry that has, if you look here at the attribute editor, and I should make a video about the attribute editor itself, where you can see all the nodes that are connected together to make this happen, right? But if I click on the mesh network, this is basically the three nodes that Maya's using to basically control this whole mesh over here. And again, I will talk about nodes. There's going to be videos about nodes in the node editor and all of those connected. I promise I'll make something like that if you're interested. But in the meantime, let's just look at what we got in front of us. Here we have three nodes. The first one is hey, create these different attributes or different ways of distributing or controlling the object. Then we have something called the distributor. It's basically take this object, duplicate it several times over a space, mesh, whatever, in different ways. And then we have something called the mesh repo. It's like the repo mesh here, just it's called the mesh repo, and the mesh repo is all it's doing. It's calling up this object here, and it's dumping it, it's giving it a number, and it's putting it into kind of a container where I could always go back and call it up. So it's giving it an ID, and then you can change the different levels. You can see there's all kind of ways that you can control this. I could also say, hey, use GPU, so it's going to calculate using your graphics card, not so much the CPU, to do a lot of the heavy lifting. Alright, so that's basically it, but I do want to show a couple of cool things that we can do. Now, the first node in the network that's going to let you control everything in the mesh network is this distribute node. And a distribute node is, like it's called, it's distributing a whole bunch of cubes in a certain way through this node. So the first thing it's doing, it's looking for distance on, in this case, distance on X. So it's saying, hey, on between 20 units, please make 10 copies. And that's what it's doing. So you can see it's creating 10 copies. I'm getting a weird behavior here. I just updated my graphics card, so probably that's why I'm getting some weird behavior, but it's all in all, it's the same. Oh, I know why I did that. Let's turn that off. There we go. That was just a GPU thing. Alright, then I can say, hey, instead of 20 units, make that 10 units, and now put 5 here, and then I have 5 units, 5 objects over 5 units. I could also do that on the height. So let's say 10 in the height, and then we'll do that. I could also say, hey, let's rotate that on the Y on 360. 360. So we get 360 rotation. And for that, let's do that and add a whole bunch, just so you can see it's rotating. So the first and last one are going to be different, but you can see it's rotating 360. How about we just say 90 degrees? And you can see that do that. We could also change the scale, so let's do scale on the X, like that. And there we go. We have something fairly cool. And all of this is pretty much animatable. I can make this animate. So let me just change the type. So the type right now is linear, so it's just going to go in a linear direction. But I can go radial, which is going to do this. And then I can animate this. So let's start frame 1, have it at size 10. Oops. A size 10. So I'm just going to right click over here and press the set key. And then we're going to go to, let's say, frame 30 or frame 25, so it's a second long. And let's have it go in. Key selected, and then let's go to 45, and then have it go back out more, like that. So key selected. Key selected. So now we got is something like this. All right. Furthermore, we can, let's say, do that. So now it's going to do... we can do a whole bunch of things. We can have it do this, or... yeah, that's better. So I'm going to put that at 0. And we'll keyframe it there. And then let's say at frame 45... we have it fully opened up like that, 360, key selected. So now we're going to get something like this. And that's it. So this is basically it. There's nothing more to this, really. It's just you got all these different ways of controlling the distribution. In the next video on Mesh, I'm going to show you how we can take what we have and make it more complex by creating a brick wall. Thank you very much for watching, and if you like what you have seen, please like, share and subscribe. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. I tend to answer the questions. If you would like to see any kind of type of video or any subject covered, please let me know again at the comments below. And with that, I would say goodbye and thank you for watching. Bye bye.